निजः परोवेति गणना लघुचेतसा अयं निजः परोवेति.
As Sadhguru has just arrived, may we now pray to Sadhguru to kindly hoist the national flag, followed by the national anthem. With Sadhguru's permission, we shall now commence the march past. Approaching the dais are the girl students of Sri Madhusudan Sai Institute of Medical Sciences and Research. They are followed by the students of university and pre-university squads from the Muddenahalli campus. Now, saluting the flag are the girls from the Prashanti Bala Mandira campus, Chikballapur. Among the boy students, the first squad comprises boy students of the medical education wing. They are followed by the students of Sri Sathya University for Human Excellence. Now, saluting the flag are the students of secondary and senior secondary sections of Sri Sathya Lokaseva Gurukulam. Once again, wishing everyone a very happy Republic Day. I am Pavan Kumar, pursuing my first year MBBS, studying in Sri Madhusudan Sai Institute of Medical Sciences and Research. Api Swarnamayi Lanka Name Lakshmana Rochate, Janani Janmabhumischa Swargadapi Gariyasi. This shloka is from the Yuddha Kanda of Valmiki Ramayana. It is the reply of Lord Sri Rama to Lakshmana when he was asked to make Lanka his capital. This shloka means, Lakshmana, even this golden Lanka does not appeal to me because mother and motherland are superior even to heaven. Republic Day is celebrated on 26th of January to commemorate the adoption of our constitution. The day signifies establishment of a self-governing nation as a sovereign, socialist and a democratic republic. The Constitution of India is a supreme law of land which guarantees right and responsibility to its citizens. Beyond the Constitution, as Bharatiyas and as Swami students, it is important to learn and live by our Swadharma or Atmadharma. When we follow our heart in the form of Atmarama at all times and places, without the fear of external monitoring, we will do everything that is right prioritizing God first, others next, and ourselves last. Through this path, Bharat will soon be the Vishwaguru, leading the world on the path of Dharma. This morning, we have two speakers share their thoughts with us. The first is Gaurav Rajan from grade 10 of Sri Sathya Lokaseva Gurukulam. Gaurav hails from Bangalore and joined here in his grade 6.
Om Shri Sai Ram, offering my humble pranams at the lotus feet of our dear Swami. Respected elders, staff, dear brothers and sisters, Sai Ram, a very good morning and a happy Republic Day to all of you. This year marks the 75th anniversary of our Constitution. It was on this day that our Constitution came to be implemented. Our Constitution is upheld by 4 core principles, namely justice, equality, liberty, and fraternity. These are not just the pillars of our Constitution, but also the guiding principles of our mission. The first principle is justice. Fairness and equal and impartial treatment to everyone is something which is very unique in our institutions. Everyone is given equal respect and importance. The second pillar is equality. As Swami very wonderfully puts it, from secretary to security, everyone is important to him because everyone has a role to play in this mission. And also because we believe in the idea of Aham Brahma, Sarvam Brahma. Everyone is divine. The third pillar is liberty. Swami has given us a lot of freedom in terms of what we want to pursue as our passion. Swami has given us the liberty to choose what we want to become. A student can aspire to become a doctor, an engineer, a musician, or even a sportsman. The fourth and the most important pillar is fraternity. Fraternity for us means brotherhood of man and fatherhood of God. Not just that, seeing the whole world as one family is also the same. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Recently, we all witnessed the legendary cricket match in which players from all over the world had assembled to play together. They did not play against each other, they played along with each other. Again, showing the whole world the true meaning of brotherhood. Not just in a game, this idea of brotherhood transcends all boundaries. May it be a student from Fiji or a child from Nigeria, everyone is equal and everyone is treated as our own family. Even in our 3 verticals, this idea is implemented. If a student enters the portals of our institution and receives free values-based education, he is filled with gratitude for all those who have worked so hard for him, who have sacrificed so much for him to be educated. This again inspires the student and gives him a place in the global family. Coming to healthcare, when a patient enters the hospital and sees the kind of work being done here and sees the way the doctors treat him with so much of love and care, just like his own family, he again feels inspired. As for nutrition, the very motto states, "Let no child go to school hungry ever." This shows the inclusivity of everyone in our mission, just like a family. As responsible citizens of this great Bharat, it is our duty to hold on to these principles and work for the betterment of society. With these words, I would like to conclude. Jai Hind, Jai Sai Ram.
The next speaker is Sister Kirtana, who is serving as a warden of Medical Girls Hostel. She joined our institution for her pre-university and secured a gold medal for post-graduation in English literature. Sister Kirtana.
Om Shri Sai Ram, offering our pranams at the lotus feet of our Master Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai. Respected elders, teachers, and all my dear brothers and sisters, Sai Ram, Namaste, and good morning on this auspicious day. Events like this occasions like this only reminds me about the opportunities that we as Gen Zs are enjoying just because of the hard work of so many in the past. Just a few minutes back, my previous speaker mentioned the third principle, that is liberty. I think the greatest gift that we as Bharatiyas have received is the freedom of making choices, is the freedom of making decisions. If at all we feel that today we are living in a better world, it is only because of the individuals who have made brighter decisions, brighter choices, that we are able to enjoy all the perks that we are receiving today. While I was studying in my school, we were told that India is a developing country. India is a developing country almost in every semester. And we being students, we would always think the responsibility of developing our country is only in the hands of politicians. And then, as it is rightly put in the poem by H.W. Longfellow, he says, lives of great men all teach us we can make our life sublime, and departing leave behind footprints on the sands of time. This tells us that the individuals who have created history in the past have proved us time and again that despite of the circumstances that we are born with, every individual has the power to change. Every individual has a power to make a difference in the life of others. And the responsibility of building the nation lies on each one of us. We don't have to do great things to be part of this nation's development. We don't have to break mountains like Dasharath Manji to be part of this nation's development. All that we need to do is to make right choices every single day, every single moment as sons and daughters of this great land, Bharat. I'm convinced by this philosophy of Japanese. It is Kaizen philosophy, which says that we need to put continuous efforts to strive for perfection, to strive for the betterment of ourselves, and at large, it helps in the betterment of the society. Every decision we make, personally, always I don't think as I'm a daughter of so-and-so father, mother, from this Kula and Gotra have come. I always think as a citizen of this world and take every decision, every choice that I make, and think that today if I'm taking a decision, tomorrow it is going to impact so many who are living around us. In this way, Swami has taught us not just to work on our individual interest, but also to make a better choices which will help all of us to grow and also at large nation to grow. Swami always encourages us to put our little efforts on the spiritual path. In that way, he says, sitting should stand, standing should run, running should reach, and reaching should merge. In the story of the struggle of our country, we have seen so many of our leaders running marathons in the past so that we can live a better life. Today, it is our responsibility to work hard. We don't have to struggle like them. We have to put our efforts so that tomorrow we will give the better society, a better place for our future generations to live in. On that note, I conclude. Thank you, Sai Ram.
We now request our Chancellor, Shri B. M. Murthy Sir, to address all of us.
With pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, brothers and sisters and very dear students, boys and girls. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the 3 students who have spoken from the podium before I came here. These are the kind of talks that we would like to hear from our students. The kind of clarity, conviction, understanding the mission of our beloved Swami should be expressed in every talk that our students spoke, and all the three students have done it, especially Pavan Kumar. I don't think any medical student in India or anywhere else can quote a shloka from Ramayana Yuddhakanda. This gives us great satisfaction that our students, especially in the medical college, who did not study with us from 6th class, we always had an apprehension, but the students have done a very good job for the institutions by getting into the mainstream of the culture of the institutions. Hearty congratulations to all the medical students, boys and girls. And I don't think any medical college students can do this kind of march past that our boys and girls have done. This is something very, very encouraging, and this is what is expected of every student, especially the medical students, because they have studied all their education up to 12th class, most of them, except 10. Other 40 have come from outside, many parts of the country, many kind of backgrounds and many states. But gelling into the mainstream of the culture of the institutions is very important, though it may be slightly bitter in the beginning. Definitely it will do great good to each and every one of you, and also to the whole country. You will be setting a great example, a great ideal for the country, for the world, as to how a Vaidya should conduct himself, how a medical professional should conduct himself or herself. Once again, congratulations to everybody. Even Gaurav and Kirtana, the kind of the language they spoke, the right kind of intonation, right kind of pronunciation of English. See, this is expected of every student, and language also matters. Content is important, there is no doubt. Content and character are very important for a speaker. But language also is important, and every one of our students, especially there are hundreds of our school students here, from now onwards, you have to think, I have to use the right language. Whether you speak Kannada, see, I'm not saying that everybody should speak only English. Yes, English is the common language of our institutions, which can be understood anywhere in the world. That's required. But at the same time, any language, Sanskrit, I'm so proud that many of our students speak such fluent Sanskrit when they speak from the platforms. It's a very good achievement for the institution. I congratulate the teachers also who are training. Even Kannada, when you speak, using the right kind of language, choosing the right kind of words and sentences also is very, very important. And coming to the Republic Day, especially for the sake of our students, school students, I would like to give some clarity. In 1947, on 15th of August, we won independence. For 3 years, we did not have a constitution of our own. We did not have a constitution of our own. In fact, the country was run for first 3 years by the first cabinet of our country, led by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, on the 1935 Government of India Act, which was passed in British Parliament. For 3 years, we followed the Act, the Government of India Act 1935, which was passed in the British Parliament. In the 3 years, the greatest minds of India were put together to write the Constitution. Generally, we hear one or two names. Dr. Ambedkar was the convener of this Constituent Assembly, which was responsible for writing the Constitution. But best of the minds, somebody like K. Munshi, R.R. Divakar, and best of the minds who were rooted in the culture. That is why in the first copy of the Constitution, the first page what was printed was the image of Ram Darbar. That was always the ideal. That was always the ideal. In fact, when Pawan Kumar talked about the kind of patriotism, the love for motherland that Rama manifested in his life. Api Swarnamayi Lanka Name Lakshmana Rochate. When Lakshmana said, see, Lanka is full of gold and diamonds. It's so rich, richer than our country Ayodhya. Why not we be here only? That is when Rama said, look at his patriotism. He said, even if it is made of gold, I am not attracted by Lanka because Janani Janmabhumischa Swargadapi Gariyasi. In fact, what unites the country is also important. As all of us know, Rama was the first integrator of the country who walked, one of the first integrators of the country who walked all the way from right in the north, right up to the southern tip of the country. And you go to any place in India, they claim Rama had come here, Lakshmana had come here. They claim. Even here there is a, as we have heard, even Sadhguru has told us, Rama has sanctified by walking on this very land, Sathya Sai Grama. In fact, if you trace the path of Rama from Nasik, where Sita was abducted, to Dhanushkoti, draw a straight line, it passes through this place. I am not saying that Rama walked in a straight line, definitely not. But at the same time, the very fact that India, you go to any corner of the country, you go to Kashmir, you go to Kanyakumari, and a Ramanavami day, what you see everywhere, see, that is how Rama unites the country. Therefore, what unites this country of so much of diversity, unity in diversity based on spiritual outlook, is the backbone of our constitution, is the backbone of our culture, is the backbone of our country. We should always remember this. We should always remember this. Because there are four entities who always, any part of India, are adored and respected. Rama, Krishna, Shiva and Devi. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Maturupena Samstita. These four, don't call them personalities. These four great divine manifestations, they are the ones who have united our country. Our colors are different, our dress habits are different, our food habits are different. When you move from north to south or east to west, there is so much of diversity. But what unites is the spiritual culture of India, and is the mission of our institutions under the leadership of Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, that we are creating an army to safeguard, to propagate the spiritual culture of the country, which is required for the whole world. When you say patriotism, what is it? Is it love for land? It was Narayan Bhatt who gave a great definition of what is a country and what is patriotism. When I say that I love my country, there are three components. This great mother, the body of the mother is this sacred land which has given birth to many divine incarnations and divine personalities. Sathya Sai Baba said, Pekku avataramula ganna pedda bhumi, pedda talli. She is the great mother who has given birth to so many divine personalities. When we find in the history of India, there are times when we feel low. But every time, the country has brought forth a great spiritual leader who revived, who rejuvenated the spiritual culture of this country. That is the glory of the country. Therefore, this land, love of the land is important. Protection of the land is important. But that is not the purpose of our institutions. The army that we are creating in the form of our students, boys and girls, is to protect the other two. What are the other two? Mother, body is this land. And children, all the people, all men and women, everyone born in this country, who are living in this country, need not be born, they may come from outside. They are the children of this great mother. Love them also. Love the land, love the people, and more importantly, the Atma The soul of this country is our spiritual culture. Amara Bharatiya Samskruti, immortal spiritual culture of India. When I say I love my country, I love my land, no doubt. But I love my people. I love all my brothers and sisters, all my elders. I love all my youngsters. I love everyone. And thirdly, most importantly, I love and practice the spiritual culture of India. Then you are a true patriot. But the first aspect is not the purpose of our institutions. Protection of land is important. There are many other institutions which create armies for protection of the land who fight for the country. That is not our intention. Our students, that is not our purpose. Our purpose is to love and serve the people of the country and love and practice the spiritual culture of the country. Then we become true patriots. And it gives me great satisfaction when I see our students, boys and girls, imbibing the values for which Sadhguru stands today. See, that is very important. When we saw the march past on the occasion of on 19th morning in the stadium, I felt so moved. We see that the passion for perfection which characterizes Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan. So there are many aspects, but passion for perfection you see in him, which is percolating into our students who are interns, who are our own teachers in many institutions. That should percolate to every student. Any stream you are studying, that passion for perfection and no complacency to accept mediocrity. These are the two very important hallmarks of Sadhguru's way of working. And when we see that our students are learning, our graduates, our postgraduates who are handling many of our institutions today, when we see them, when they see that kind of passion for perfection percolating into them also, it gives me very great satisfaction. Once again, congratulating everybody and praying for the great glory of our country. And I was born in British India, and there may not be many among here. And I would definitely like to see in my own lifetime a really Vikasit Bharat, a developed country, not only materially, as most importantly Sadhguru says, where there is economic opportunity, educational opportunities for the poorest of the poor people. See, that is very important. Kirtana spoke of the freedom of choices, but how many people in our country have the freedom of choices? Only people with money. But giving that opportunity, giving those choices up, that options to poorest of the poor is something unique which is being done by Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai and our institutions. Our students will have to understand this and carry this torch forward. And definitely I would like to see an India which is really developed and where nobody starves, where no child born is denied opportunity for the right kind of education. That is the country. More importantly, every child is taught the glorious treasure of our culture, of devotion to God, the ideal of self-realization and service to mankind. This is what all of us would like to, as elders, we would like to see. With these words I conclude and pray to Sadhguru. And it's a great and glorious blessing our students should understand, because see, I sometimes feel slightly, see, the age of the body may not permit me to see the glory that the institutions, the country and the world is going to achieve under the leadership of Sadhguru. But you students have got the great blessing. Younger you are, better opportunities. More you are going to see. And I pray to Sadhguru for his divine benediction on this very beautiful morning. Thank you very much. Sai Ram to you.
As we stand here today under the tricolor that represents the collective sacrifices, the unity and prosperity of our country, I am reminded of how our country is full of festivals. But two most important festivals that stand out are the Independence Day celebrations that happen on 15th of August and the Republic Day celebrations which is happening today on the 75th year of Republic of India. Amongst the two, while many may argue that Independence Day is the greater celebration, it is the more important one, I would say that Republic Day is greater than Independence Day celebrations. And I have a reason for it. Just gaining independence without knowing how to govern ourselves will lead us nowhere. Unless we know how to use our independence correctly, responsibly, we cannot enjoy independence in the true sense. And the Constitution of India that was incorporated, implemented on this day, gave us the vision, gave us the guidance, gave us the do's and don'ts when we are independent. When somebody is ruling over us, they tell us what to do and what not to do. But when we are independent and nobody is there to tell us what to do and what not to do, self-governance becomes our strength. And the Constitution of India gives us that right understanding of how to use our independence correctly. Therefore, this celebration, this festival of Republic Day is far more important to all of us. But the true celebration of this would happen when we truly abide by the values and the principles of our Constitution. Constitution is just not to be debated and discussed in the court of law or in the legislature when a decision has to be made, but it is the very lifeblood, the very spine, the backbone of every citizen of this country, and we must live by it. Some of the values the speakers, the student speakers mentioned that our Constitution tells us about, and how Kirtana put it, liberty, the most important value, because that is independence. But how we use it is even more important than just having that value. And our Narsimurti ji said it, that how as an institution we are trying to implement these things, how our students are learning these values by practicing it very much in their daily lives. That is how we build a stronger nation. When every citizen lives by these values. I read somewhere, values are those that you either live by or you die for. There is no compromise when it comes to values. So either we live by these values that have been taught to us by our Constitution, or we die for them, but we do not ever negotiate, we do not ever compromise. That is the way values must be practiced in our country. 75 years, we already have got this Constitution, we have worked towards implementing it in the letter and spirit. Yet, very simple value as justice or equality has not been achieved in these many years. As it's already been mentioned that around the country, when we see so many people who are denied opportunities to simply feed themselves, to clothe themselves, to shelter themselves, or to educate themselves, it truly is a big question mark that we need to answer as to whether we have been able to achieve all that we had set out to achieve 75 years ago. My answer to this is definitely not completely. But what can we do about it? Should we just leave it to the leaders of the nation to achieve what needs to be achieved? Or should every one of us participate in this process of developing this country by providing these opportunities to everyone? And our way would be that it is the collective participation of all that would lead us to the developed nation that we are dreaming of, where sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschit dukkham apnuyad. This prayer can be fully realized. Nobody would be sad and hungry. Nobody would be unhealthy and sick. Everybody will get what they need, and therefore they would lead happy and satisfied lives. That is the developed nation, that is the Ramarajya that we dream of. But just as the independence or freedom to us did not come because of the effort of one or two leaders, it came because of the participations of lakhs of nameless, voiceless Indians who struggled, fought for the freedom of the country. Likewise, even the developed nation dream will not be realized unless every one of us participates in it and not just leaves it to a few leaders on top to achieve it. So this duty that Constitution gives us, apart from the rights, the responsibilities and duties that Constitution gives us, they are more important for us, where each one of us must do our very best, excel in whatever we do, in order to contribute positively to the development of this country. Max Muller said, if India lives, who dies? And if India dies, who lives? India is the soul of the world. While other countries may be very rich economically, they may be far more progressive, they may have better infrastructure and other facilities, yet that is all the external. The internal thing that keeps the world together is this Indian philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, is this Indian philosophy of Tyage Naike Amritatva Manushuhu. It is this Indian philosophy of Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. Unless India stands and lives this ideal of doing good to everyone, Sarve Loka Hite Rataha, the world cannot stay together. It will fall apart. And that is why India is so important for the world. But what is India? As he mentioned, it's not just the mountains and the rivers. It is not just the villages and the towns, not just the roads and the infrastructure. It is not even the political system or the bureaucracy. It is the people of India, it's the culture of India which is true India. And culture of India is this, when we think of others before ourselves, when we work for the welfare of all without any selfishness, when we are ready to sacrifice our individuality for the collective good of all, that culture is Indian culture. And that is what will help the world become a better place to live in. And it is up to each one of us to practice these values. Until we practice these values, there is a future for all of us. They played the tune Sare Jahan Se Acha. It says in that, Yunana Misra Roma, Sab mit gaye jahan se, Baki magar hai ab tak namo nisha hamara. कुछ बात है कि हस्ती मिटती नहीं हमारी. There is a reason why we are never destroyed. Many invasions have happened. Many people have attacked this country over the last millennia. Yet India survived. Its resilience to regain its glory has always been its strength. Until today, this is the only culture which survives. This is the only civilization which continues when all other great civilizations have perished and vanished from the face of earth. There is something about it, says Iqbal. Kuch baat hai, something is there, we do not know, we can't put a finger on it and say this is the reason why India survives. But the truth of all truths is that India survives because of its spiritual culture, where it considers everyone as their own, and when it thinks that all belong to us and everybody's welfare is important. I always say there cannot be a happy individual in an unhappy family. There cannot be a happy family in an unhappy village. There cannot be a happy village in an unhappy country. And there cannot be a happy country in an unhappy world. Unless we are all are happy together, one cannot be happy all by oneself. And that is the idea of being involved, being active, being contributing to the welfare of all and not just for our own sake. Even animals live for themselves and their kids. No big deal if we just live for that sake. We must live for the sake of everyone, whether we know them or not, whether they belong to us or not. That is the culture of India. That is the reason why India has always survived all kinds of attacks and invasions. And today the biggest attack that is happening in India is not a war or a political or economic problem. It is the cultural problem of India. When young generation is not being taught about our spirituality, our culture, our traditions, that is where we come under great danger. Because if that dies, our culture of selflessness and sacrifice dies, there is no future for India and there is no future for the world. So in our institutions, with great effort, we have made it possible for our children to learn about our culture and philosophy. Not just the culture about the various dances, music and other art forms, but much deeper about the very Indian philosophy that everything is divine. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, everything is divine, everyone is divine. And therefore we have to behave and work according to this understanding that all are divine. And that is how this idea of loving and serving each other comes into picture. And that is the future, that is the culture of India. I do not know whether India can become a big military power or economic power in short span of time. But the soft power of India, which is its spirituality and culture, that is something that can rule the world, that can make India the Vishwaguru that we have dreamt of. I'm sure economic progress will happen. All other ways, India will also progress, which we are already seeing. But the most important progress that Indians must make is this cultural and spiritual progress. Because if that remains, India will thrive, not just survive, it will thrive for all centuries to come. And to uphold this culture of spirituality and sacrifice is your responsibility. Because I do not see many educational institutions teaching these things. Many are shying away from telling even about this great culture of India or its spirituality or Vedas or the Upanishads or even Bhagavad Gita for that matter. People shy away from it. In the name of calling it a secular country, we have abandoned these great cultural values and ethos. But in our institution, every effort is being made to make you understand the depth and the beauty of this spiritual culture of India. Because to me, that is the soul of this country and that is the soul of the world. And as long as we live up to this responsibility of upholding this culture of spirituality, which translates into loving and serving everyone as equals, we cannot attain true freedom, true self-governance. So for me, the true celebration of independence or Republic Day happens when we know how to govern ourselves based on the ideals of Indian spirituality and culture, which loves and serves everyone, which is ready to sacrifice individuality for the sake of collective good, which is ready to give up its selfish ambitions for the sake of selfless welfare of all beings, not just human beings, but all beings of all the countries and nations. That is when we truly celebrate these great festivals that we have been blessed to have. These children that I see marching past fills my heart with great pride and joy. I do not know how much you understand the importance of March Past, how much you appreciate and feel the emotions of patriotism when you march under the flag of this country. But I, while sitting on this side, look at all of you and look at all of you with great hope and aspirations, with great dream that each one of you will be leader in your own might and would uphold this culture of India, would live this culture by your own example and inspire thousands and thousands of more children and youngsters. We cannot open institutions everywhere. We cannot shelter all the children, those who are needy in our institutions. We have limited capacities. But each one of you can build institutions. Each one of you can build such institutions which can shelter many more individuals and inspire them also to create a chain reaction where one inspires the other and the other inspires many more. And that's how we can spread this culture of sacrifice and spirituality to all the people in the country to begin with, and from there to the whole world. That time is not far when the whole world will bow down to India for its spiritual effulgence, for its spiritual strength. Because the chaos and the conflict that exists in the world has no other solution. It cannot be solved by economic progress. It cannot be solved by political means. There is no solution. They have tried everything and failed in the last couple of centuries. The only answer to all the problems in the world is Indian spirituality. When you love and respect each other because you know everybody is divine, and therefore you do not want to hurt or harm anyone, but rather find ways to help and serve all. This is the only solution to all the problems in the world, and this solution can be provided through right kind of education that we are trying to give in our institutions, where every child is made aware of his or her responsibility to learn this culture and practice in their daily lives. And this is the working model of that Ramarajya, that developed nation that the world is looking at. And once we replicate this model in many places around the world, there will be far greater impact on people and their mindset. And that is the solution that we are providing, and you are part of that solution. Many of people complain about the problems and shortcomings and difficulties in the country. They leave the country and go away elsewhere, waiting for their visas to come, go to other countries and settle down for greater comforts. At that time, when such a thing happens, this is the shloka from Ramayanam which should remind us. Janani Janma Bhumischa Swargadhapi Gariyasi. that mother and motherland are greater than heaven. Even if our mother is ugly, we don't abandon her for the sake of a beautiful lady elsewhere because she looks better. Likewise, even if our country is having problems, it is our responsibility to be a part of the solution, not be a part of the problem. And talk about positive solutions, positive contributions, than going on contemplating and crying about the difficulties that we face. That generation is over. Our generation should provide solutions to the problems of this country, and some basic solutions that I think of is what we do. Provide food to the hungry, especially the children, provide education to the children, the needy, provide health care to the sick. Whether they can afford it, they can pay for it or not, it is our collective responsibility to do it for them. And when we do that, they will carry gratitude in their heart. And that gratitude is transformative. That gratitude will inspire them to do good to many more people whom they come across in their lives. And this is a value, this is a virtue that every of our students should carry in their hearts. Every citizen of India should carry gratitude for all the sacrifices that were made, sacrifices made by the people in the past, on whose shoulders we stand today as free and liberated citizens of this country. We must never forget their sacrifices, and this gratitude which will help us to do more good to more people. Once again, congratulating everybody and conveying my best wishes and blessings to all the people, those who are the blessed citizens of this country as well as those who are the world citizens. They all have come from different countries. They have so much of pride and respect for Indian culture and spirituality that they travel thousands of miles to be here in this ashram, to learn from us, to understand this spiritual culture and take it back to their homes. So many of them come from around the world. This is our power, this is our strength. And upholding this is your greatest responsibility above everything else. While you have great things to do in the future, for now, what is the way you can contribute is to learn well, is to study well, is to absorb and understand every single value that is being taught. Practice it completely and assimilate it into your character. Make it a part of you. That is the greatest contribution you can make at this point in time. And when you are all graduates and you have finished your education, you will build institutions that will help many more individuals and spread this idea of Indian spirituality to every corner of the world. That is my hope and aspiration. I once again congratulate and bless everyone on this sacred occasion, the most important festival of our democracy, and wish you all the very best for all your future endeavors. Jai Hind, Jai Sai Ram.
We may now conclude with Aarti.
ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक परति महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपद बांधवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे मात पिता गुरुदैवमु मरियंतयु नीवे स्वामी मरियंतयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नागेन्द्राशयन ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वियो साई महादेवा सद्गुरु साई महादेवा मंगल हारति अंदुको मंगल हारति अंदुको मंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ॐ सत्यनारायण नारायण ॐ सत्यनारायण नारायण ॐ जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ॐ सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ॐ नारायण नारायण ॐ सत्यनारायण नारायण ॐ सत्यनारायण नारायण ॐ जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ॐ सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ॐ नारायण नारायण ॐ सत्यनारायण नारायण ॐ सत्यनारायण नारायण ॐ जय सद्गुरुदेवा ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय जय बोलो सद्गुरु श्री मधुसूदन साई जी की जय।